Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take some source material you shared and, well, really dig into it.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at an essay someone sent in. It's called Ted Brautigan, a perfect archetype of the self-preservation five.
Ah, Ted Brautigan. So the character Anthony Hopkins played masterfully, I should say, in Hearts in Atlantis.
That's the one. Based on the Stephen King novel, of
That's
course.
right. This older man, kind of mysterious, who connects with the young boy, Bobby, and this essay looks at him through the Enneagram.
Yeah, specifically type 5, and even more specifically, the self-preservation subtype of type 5.
Okay, so our mission today, if you will, is to use TED as a lens to really get a feel for the motivations, the behaviors, the inner landscape of this self-preservation five.
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, a way to understand this particular personality type through a really well-drawn example.
Right. So maybe you've known someone, someone who seems fiercely independent, really guards their privacy, seems careful with their, energy, their space, their stuff. Well, this deep dive into TED might offer some surprising insights into that.
Definitely. So where does the essay start us off?
It jumps right into this concept from Claudio Naranjo. He calls it the castle.
Ah, the castle metaphor, yes. It's pretty central to understanding the self-preservation five.
So what is it exactly, more than just wanting a man cave?
Oh, much more. It's this profound, almost primal need for refuge, for sanctuary.
Okay.
It's not just about quiet, it's about having a controlled environment, a place where they feel secure, where they can manage their boundaries and, crucially, conserve their resources.
Resources like energy, time.
Exactly. Energy, time, attention, even physical space. They often perceive these as quite limited. The core fear for a 5 is often about being incapable or helpless.
Right.
So the self-preservation instinct focuses that fear onto needing a secure base, a castle, to feel competent and manage those resources effectively.
Okay, that clicks immediately when you think about Ted in the film.
Oh.
Well, renting the room in Bobby's house, it wasn't just, finding a place to crash. The essay points out how deliberately he sets it up.
Yes, the careful selection, the arrangement of his few things.
It's like he's constructing this inner sanctum, a controlled space where he feels safe, autonomous.
That intentionality is key. It's not passive, it's actively shaping the space. His meticulous organization, the quiet way he watches his surroundings.
And vigilance, yeah.
It's all part of maintaining that castle. It's a direct expression of needing that safety from intrusion, needing to feel in command of his little world.
Which, I guess, leads directly into his watchfulness about the low men, right?
Exactly.
At first glance, you might just think, okay, that's his paranoia, part of the plot.
But the essay frames it differently. It sees it as almost a heightened state of awareness typical of the type 5, especially the self-preservation 5.
Like a sensitivity to potential threats. Threats to his sanctuary.
Precisely. It's that hyper-awareness of anything that could breach the walls of the castle, anything that could drain those precious resources, including his peace of mind. It's about protecting that safe space.
Okay. Now, the essay also talks about the economy of resources for this type. We mentioned energy and time, but it goes deeper.
Oh yeah, much deeper. It's not just about being thrifty with money, though that can be part of it. It's more fundamental.
Like a core belief.
A core belief, often subconscious, in the scarcity of resources generally. Energy, attention, knowledge, possessions. Ted embodies this perfectly.
Oh.
Well, look at how little he owns. His lifestyle is almost Spartan. For a self-preservation 5, accumulating stuff can feel burdensome, like another potential drain.
Right, more things to manage, to worry about.
Exactly. And it's not just what he has, but how he uses his energy. The essay mentions his careful rationing.
I remember his movements seemed very contained.
Yeah.
Deliberate.
Yes, almost like he's consciously conserving every ounce of energy. His measured way of speaking, too. Concise.
So it's all about conserve.
Pretty much. It extends to how he shares knowledge, his time. Very selective. It's not necessarily stinginess in the usual sense.
More like resource management.
Exactly. A deep conviction that these things are finite and need careful husbanding to maintain his own stability and, well, competence.
Okay, so we have this picture. Withdrawn, protective, careful with resources. But then the essay brings in this twist. The paradox of withdrawal and kindness.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really fascinating.
Because it seems contradictory, right?
On the surface, yes. Despite that fundamental tendency to withdraw and contain themselves, they can show surprising warmth, kindness, protection, even collaboration.
But there's a catch.
The catch is it's always on their own terms.
And Ted and Bobby, That's the prime example here, isn't it?
Absolutely. Here's this very private, self-contained man, yet he offers Bobby real guidance, protection, genuine care.
It feels almost out of character based on everything else.
But it's not, really. The
Yeah.
key is how he does it. He maintains his boundaries, he keeps his autonomy.
Oh, okay.
He connects, he cares, but he doesn't suddenly become enmeshed or lose his need for solitude. He engages when he feels he has the resources, and in a way that doesn't feel like it's going to deplete him.
That makes sense. It's connection, but managed connection.
You could put it that way, yes.
Now let's talk about knowledge. Because for
Mhm.
fives generally, knowledge is huge, like currency.
Oh, absolutely. It's vital. And the essay calls it a multi-purpose tool specifically for the self-preservation subtype, like Ted.
Multi-purpose how?
Well, first, knowledge itself can be a sanctuary, an inner world of ideas, facts, understanding, a place they can retreat to and feel safe.
Like an internal castle made of information.
Sort of, yeah. A refuge from the messy, demanding external world.
Okay, but the essay also says it can substitute for emotional connection and be a way to connect. That seems interesting.
Right. Engaging with ideas, with information, can feel less risky, less draining, maybe, than intense emotional interaction.
Safer.
Safer, yes. And it allows a form of connection that doesn't require as much emotional output. Think about Ted and Bobby again.
There talks about books.
Exactly. Sharing his literary knowledge becomes his chosen way to bridge that gap between them. It's specific, it's controlled.
So it's not just him showing off how smart he is.
Yeah.
It's a deliberate strategy for connection.
Very much so. The essay uses a great image. It's like he's selectively lowering the drawbridge to his castle.
Letting Bobby in, but just a bit, on his terms.
Precisely. Sharing something valuable, his intellect, his appreciation for literature, but in a way that feels manageable, safe, allows him to maintain control.
The essay also mentions Anthony Hopkins' physical performance, how he really nailed this subtype.
Oh, it was incredibly insightful, really subtle.
What kind of things specifically?
Well, those economical movements we talked about, there's just no wasted motion,
Right. Very contained.
And his management of personal space. You could almost feel that invisible boundary around him, even when he was close to Bobby.
Yeah. A sense of reserve.
Definitely.
Mm.
And his gaze, very observant, constantly taking things in, but not necessarily engaging emotionally through his eyes all the time.
Assessing. Always assessing. And didn't the essay mention how he might position himself? Like near an exit?
Yes. That tendency to perhaps subconsciously ensure there's always a way out, a way to retreat if needed. Even his speech patterns measured, precise.
Every word chosen carefully.
It all adds up to this picture of someone acutely aware of their energy, their boundaries, and prioritizing the conservation of both. It's how they physically navigate the world.
So that's the outside. What about the inside? The essay mentions an economy of emotion. What's that about? Is it like they don't feel things?
No, absolutely not. That's a common misconception about fives. It's not an absence of feeling.
Okay.
It's more like they prioritize their emotional resources in the same way they prioritize energy or time, often unconsciously.
So they feel things intensely, maybe, but are careful about showing it or investing it.
Exactly. Expressing strong emotion or getting deeply invested emotionally can feel particularly draining or even overwhelming to them, so they tend to be more reserved, more selective.
And this leads to that core dilemma the essay talks about.
Yes, that fundamental tension, the push and pull between the very human need for connection.
And the deep-seated fear of being depleted or overwhelmed by it.
That's it exactly. You see it so clearly in Ted's relationship with Bobby, that hesitant warmth, the genuine care, but always with that underlying caution.
So the refuge, the castle, it's not just his room, it's a state of mind too.
Absolutely. It's a whole way of being in the world, a strategy for preserving autonomy while still allowing for some connection, carefully chosen and carefully managed.
Okay, wow. So let's try and pull this all together. Based on this deep dive, using Ted Brautigan as our guide to the self-preservation five. What are the big takeaways?
Well, number one is definitely that profound need for a sanctuary, for the castle, that secure base.
Right. Control over their space and resources.
Then there's that ingrained economy of resources, energy, time, attention, not just money, stemming from that sense of scarcity.
Got it. And the paradox.
The paradox, yeah. That surprising capacity for kindness and protection, but always alongside that core withdrawal, always on their own terms.
And knowledge.
Knowledge as a refuge, as a substitute for draining interactions, and as that controlled drawbridge for connection.
Plus the physical stuff, the careful movements, the boundaries, the observant gaze.
Exactly. How it all manifests physically.
So understanding this archetype, this pattern, it really gives you a different way to look at people, doesn't it? People in your own life who maybe value independence highly, who seem very deliberate.
It really does. It moves you past just seeing them as maybe aloof or stingy and helps you appreciate the underlying needs and motivations. It fosters empathy, I think.
Yeah, not putting them in a box, but understanding the shape of the box they feel they need.
Well put.
So here's something to think about as you go about your day. Consider the castles we all build. Are they always physical?
Good question.
Or could they be, routines or a deep knowledge base? Or even just a few very carefully chosen relationships? And maybe ask yourself, what resources do you instinctively protect? What do you feel you need to conserve?
Definitely food for thought. It certainly is. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.